Welcome back. Today we're on wiping fingerprints. If you recall what you touched. I'm such a touchy person, I practically caressed everything. Then the police found the body and threw an autopsy party. Turns out this body was a weaponized soldier. Taking out a killing machine like that is no simple feat. Costa saw Gray in a wheelchair on the surveillance cameras, which sparked a rather odd theory in his mind. Gray gets called back by Alan, who's practically a detective and knows exactly what Gray's up to. Alan, fearing chip exposure, warns Gray another murder and that chip's mine again. Before long, Costa shows up because, surprise surprise, Gray left his footprints at the crime scene. Naturally, they just wanted to have a chat, but looking at Gray, who was totally paralyzed, Costa's reasoned there's no way he could have done it. Yet Costa sensed Gray was hiding something, and Gray fooled him with the chip. The chip encourages Gray to keep investigating, leading him to a bar where all the hitmen hang out. After a swig, Gray gathers courage and yells, "If anyone knows who killed my wife, raise your hand. Let's chat." This got everyone laughing. I mean, who's afraid of a guy in a wheelchair? But not everyone can resist Gray's confidence, and one black guy sauntered over looking a bit too cocky. He threw out a little tease and started to walk away, but Gray shot back saying, "Dude, I just turned your face into a pizza slice." Upon hearing, the black guy realized the gravity, deciding to take Gray to the bathroom for thorough questioning. Gray was tossed to the ground like a sad puppy because the chip had temporarily turned off his pain sensors. This meant that no matter how hard the opponent tried to cut him with a knife, Gray was like a completely controlled robot, utterly devoid of any fighting capability and powerless to resist. With no pain, Gray sat to the black guy and started demanding info on where the other baddies were. Look at him still laughing. "Show me your little knife." This black guy was actually pretty buff, a real tough guy. But my mom always said, you can't just use strength to hit, you need some skills. Thanks, that's enough, Gray. After all the commotion, the black guy is now just a mistake. Terrified, the black guy spells that their boss is called Fisk. At that moment, Alan noticed Gray was about to go on a killing spree again and quickly turned off the chip remotely, warning Gray to stop. If shut down, Gray's headed to the battlefield. To save time, he ditched the wheelchair for a hacker. Following the chip's directions, Gray scribbled the system code on his arm. But boy, did things change quickly. Alan's actions kicked in, and parts of the chip's functions were shut down, turning Gray into a limp noodle. He had to hurry up, otherwise he'd be a street statue. Lucky for him, the criminal boss Fisk was heading to the bar. When he saw his buddy turn into a mistake, Fisk just had to stick his finger in his eye. Talk about overdramatic. 5,147 spring lasts 10 minutes. He says anyone daring to join this business I grov. Now that he knew where to go, Fisk began to complain about the boss, who stood idly by when his buddy got whacked. The bearded guy is no slouch either, running a bar in a place like this. Total guts. Look at him go. Fisk approached gracefully, blew him a kiss, and bam. Nanobots went straight into his brain, and that beard guy was toast. At this moment, thanks to Alan's super manipulations, Gray could only move one arm. Thankfully, he knocked on the hacker's door and slipped him a stack of cash. The hacker started decoding the chip according to instructions, and now we just have to wait for the reboot. But the hacker spotted Fisk on the surveillance. Without hesitation, he dropped the laptop and bolted. The hacker seized the moment, spotted Fisk, and without a moment of indecision, he was at the door, laptop in hand, just as Alan's crew showed up with guns. Meanwhile, Fisk's crew loaded their bullets, ready to take out Gray. But Gray just kicked the door open at Fisk and they sagged right in. Gray, back from the dead, bolted from the hallway, and Fisk heard the elevator ding, switching gears into high alert mode, spotting Alan's crew through the walls. Without hesitation, he fires a round directly at them. Gray found himself cornered on the rooftop, nowhere to run. When Fisk arrived, there was yet another corpse waiting for him. The last living brother left standing was Gray. On a bright morning, Gray returned home, only to find his mom hadn't slept all night. Seeing her son moving like a pro, Gray decided to spill the beans. The next morning, Costa showed up, and the murder at the bar along with the leftover wheelchair made him suspicious of Gray. To uncover the truth, he planted a bug in Gray's clothes and left the room, but as soon as he was gone, Gray sat right up. Gray didn't want to keep killing, but the chip reminded him that even if he stopped, Fisk wouldn't let him off the hook. Not listening to reason, he shut down the mobility. In an instant, Gray crashed to the floor, once more paralyzed. It hit him like a freight train. The true master wasn't him, it was the chip. Meanwhile, Costa was listening in on all the dialogue and soon witnessed Gray miraculously driving out of the garage. Thanks to lacking electronic signals, the chip didn't catch on right away, but it did spot Costa tailing him, and Gray stomped on the gas pedal. Determined to shake off the cops, the chip took over the smart car, reversing at full speed right towards Gray. Costa, stopped by the crash, was fine but couldn't continue the chase. Once back at Gray's house, he learned from Gray's mom who had turned him into a superhuman.